I'm getting by with my wicked ways. I'm loading up and I'm taking names. I wanna I'm getting by with my wicked ways.
Welcome back to TGR News, guys. Again, we're making a new video today. We're going to do some talking. Literally get down to some business, some update information about what's going on right now. You know, just not talking about politics, really. I mean, honestly, you know, my journalism is taking, you know, a slow walk right now, which is not a bad thing, you know. I work, you know, I do a lot of things. I got a lot of downtime sometimes, and no, that's just amazing opportunity I get, you know, to do what I do. And when we really take the time to think about these things, it's like, why you make a video? Why do you talk? You know, why do you say anything at all? You know, it's a good conversational understanding about what I do. You know, lately I've been trying to get back into my old Facebook. Broke my old phone, unfortunate. But I got into one of my old accounts. It's a very secure account, of course. So, now what we're trying to do is make sure Facebook is not trying to censor alternative news, try to censor journalism, anything like that. So I'm into one of my most secure accounts, which I keep on lockdown, really locked and really secured, identified and everything. But yeah, this account's gone through hell. So, you know, this is my outstanding account right here. I got going on. I got finally, you know, TGR News set up again on Facebook. But, you know, it's getting kind of tiring to sit here and go through all these issues with Facebook. You know, Facebook has always been out for censorship, deliberately siding with the radical leftists, siding with people who are out to, you know, shut you down because they know you can do something. They know what you do. They know what you've been up to, like me. You know, I am the guy who gets out there and I fight back. Yeah, I mean, I made my phone calls to senators, Congress. I've talked to big heads. You know, I'm not trying to make myself, you know, seem any more bigger than what I've been doing. You know, but, you know, when it came down to the 14th Amendment sections 2 and 3 about, you know, Hillary Clinton's campaign associated in rebellion, insurrection, being supportive to criminal activity and things like that, I took a very strict note on that situation to get that information out there. And I worked my ass off to get that shit through groups and different groups, you know. So this was some of the hardest shit I ever did, you know, without paying money for advertisement. And I've done wasted $6 on Facebook, unfortunately. Because, you know, Facebook, you know, I put in my credit card in this last account and started adding out my page. Just add my page, you know, just added out a single video that just, you know, sort of sparkles off TGR News. But, you know, again, you know, they shut it down. They shut my account down. They shut not the TGR News down. They shut the personal account down. I mean, they shut my profile down, which still had TGR News showing. So it wasn't TGR News. They didn't unpublish TGR News. My news was not obviously the issue, but they were targeting me somewhere. Obviously, they were trying to target me about my identity, which is, you know, I've sent in my identification for both those accounts, and it's really unfortunate that they've, you know, forced me to go back to this account. And I'm trying to get TGR News rolling and going again. But, you know, obviously, I'm going through this identity crisis, but, you know, obviously, I know who I am. Obviously, we know I was born a male gender. You know, we obviously know that my identification says what it says. So obviously, you know, these people don't want to listen, and I've submitted, you know, my issues with them, and they still haven't responded to that yet. So Facebook is totally censoring or some reason targeting, but, you know, we're gonna figure that part out once we figure out how stabilized TGR News is on this account here. Because like I said, I've gone through hell with this account. And I've done a lot of work with this account. And I mean, I've worked my ass off keeping this account together. And I've got a few others, you know, just on deactivation right now, hidden. And then I've got a couple other on there that I'm locked out of. But, you know, I don't have too many Facebook accounts because every time I seem to get locked out of an account, I some way deactivate that account and I go back to the other account, which, as you can see, comes in handy, obviously. And they couldn't stop me if I wanted to be on Facebook, if I didn't want to be on Facebook. It's a simple flip phone change, I just change my phone number, I create 10 more emails, bingo, there you go. I've got 10 more opportunities to come at Facebook like that because, I've never broken no rules on Facebook. I've never had no issues besides their liberalistic leftist issues about what they call aggressive posting. So when you're doing aggressive posting, which I've had these issues before in groups, you'll go into groups and you'll have like 10 different groups. And I'll go to group to group to group and I'll share one video in like 10 different groups, but then they try to shut you down from sharing the same video, trying to put it out there yourself and sharing it out, what they're doing. And that's a form of censorship. That's the censorism that I've been dealing with Facebook when I wasn't paying for advertisement, when I wasn't, willing to pay Facebook for, their bullshit leftist ideas and their censorship attacks. It's so hard to support Facebook. It is. And again, me making these videos with YouTube is like, it's not easy either because I've heard of people losing their accounts on YouTube. But, as long as I don't, do what I'm not supposed to do on YouTube, I guess we'll be fine, But, we fight a battle. We fight that war for a reason. And me trying to get reestablished in this situation is not easy. So, it's something that we're working at. Again, I'm looking forward to getting these articles going. I'm looking forward to getting out there. I just want to do some more talking, about North Korea also. But, just, talk about the censorship issue. It's horrible, knowing that the entertainment right now, social media, is literally at the line it's been at, and it is so unfortunate. We can't please everybody, and it's so crazy. It's like, you don't support gay marriage, but, you don't really give a crap about gay people. It's not like, you don't care about someone being gay, but, you don't support gay marriage because some people are like that. Or, you don't really believe in gender pronunciations and way you should, agree with someone's subjective thinking. Obviously, someone's subjective thinking, doesn't have the form of understanding and where it needs. It has an opportunity to be diluted, very, deceiving, even into our court systems. These things are very important, and that's the hardest part, because here you go, you take Canada, for example. You deal with gender issues and you deal with people who subjectively think that they're male or female, which were not born male or female. And you start thinking about, well, I'm going to come up to this guy and I'm going to acknowledge him, because I'm in a work environment. And I'm acknowledge him for his born identity. But then I'm getting a lawsuit because this guy, is not agreeing with what I'm, recognizing him as in the first place, because that's what he was born or agreed as. And this is the reality you got to deal with. So automatically the court systems are falling apart right there. When you start battling areas like that, especially in Canada, you start dealing with things like that, you could see the court systems failing. You can see them deliberately giving in to this insanity, this unlogical sense of, understanding that should be there. I mean, because obviously, in my explanation when it comes to gender issues and it comes to gender identifications and things like that, we come down to the point about, John Doe who killed John Jane. So, when we deal with John Doe who wants to turn into Jane Doe, we'll put it that way. But yes, when we start dealing with John Doe, who wants to turn into Jane Doe, because he killed a Jane Doe, the point is that now the courts would have to resemble the first law and act, and which resembles pronunciations and things like that, and resemblance of agreement of entitlement of your identity. So you think about the manipulation, you think about the corruption, you think about the psychological issues in that situation, and it's just so typical about, you can't make everybody happy in what you support and what you don't support. I mean, and the deliberate understanding, knowing that, you're going to make people mad somewhere, but you've got to take a stand somewhere. I mean, obviously there is somewhere that logical sense, comes at hand, and it's like, wow, where does that explanation ever come at hand? That's a good understanding, and it's never the point, though. It is, the very realization of a natural born citizen, and our natural born person recognizing who they are, their blood, their fingertips, their gender, the blah blah blah, before they turn into anyone else and before they commit any crimes, recognizing the person for who they were and who they are, instead of just, let's take religion for example. Let's talk about people who talk about God. God, supposed to speak to you, things like that. You hear God's voice, you hear Jesus leading you, guiding you, things like that. You get into this very deep understanding about religious understandings too. So, typically the logical form of this understanding we're talking about is like not everybody's going to recognize the fact that you're out there saying God's going to come and destroy the world tomorrow. God told you to go out there and give $100,000 away. God told you to do this, do that, kill a person. It's just the point that, when you recognize the facts that, that there is a logical area in these sensible places that we have to fight back at. That's the very recognizing part that I'm dealing with now. As I said, this is my most secured Facebook account, which is, should be very assertive. I've had it for over 3 years. It's very, very useful, so far. I've had it for quite a while now and already gone through my identity issues, blah, blah, blah. Already gone through this whole reckoning issue with, Facebook. But dealing with Facebook is so unfair to some people. It is so unconsiderate to the public. A lot of people really need to recognize the fact that I've been on Facebook with TGR News for over 2 years with TGR News, and I've just recently just deleted it and restarted it like within a matter of moments. And here I am already, having to create a couple new accounts because I'm locked out of other accounts, and here I am already dealing with these identity issues, and I've already sent them my ID. I've sent them, hell, there's nothing I could not send these people. Hell, my news has never been a form of harassment, a form of attack, to be slanderous to people that didn't have it coming. But, of course, my news has been most particular because, like I said, we've been upholding the 14th Amendment Sections 2 and 3 during the 2016 elections, dealing with, the Hillary Clinton campaign, with the associations, the support of criminal rebellion, insurrection, things like that, and dealing with all those actions out there. And it's so unfortunate when you got to restart over. And, I like I said, I took on my own issues, dealing with corrupt businesses, corrupt, bullies and business corporations like Subway. Subway was a horrible understanding for a lot of people who ever worked for them because, the job I was in at the time, was, me being manager of the store and me dealing with being surrounded by sex offenders, and I didn't know I was surrounded by sex offenders. But, the store wanted to cover up my issues and cover up them trying to screw me over because, they had promised me no consequences, had promised me no problems, and was going to allow me to keep my job over, a simple post in which, was directed towards the Cox and Not Glocks organization, which is an anti-gun group that waves dildos around, that talks about fighting absurdity with absurdity, which, my news is filled of absurdity and insanity because, rebellion it is. But, and intentionally we start figuring out that I started working on this project. This project seemed to come back on me. Got me fired because, the people kept on harassing my job, kept on attacking me, kept on targeting me at my job. But it was all within the same day, and turn around, I got released. So I had, said, fuck this, I'm not going to take this. This ain't going to be me. This is not going to be me. You're not going to sit here and cover this up. You're not going to turn this, so you're not going to turn this around on me. I'm going to turn this around on you. So I got out there with signs. I got out there with flags. I got out there with, blowhorns, I really hit that business. I really hit them good for their so-called cover-up and what they were trying to do because of what situation they put me in, and I figured out that, they were sex offenders. They were people that, were corrupt, hiring sex offenders within that store constantly. They were using that store, you know, for an outlet for people right out of jail, fresh out of jail. The general manager had connections with the probation officers, and the probation officers would tell them, hey, this person here. And this person would come to work with us. And I would not even know these people were sex offenders. All I know is they're fresh out of jail, so I had some type of caution towards them. I just didn't understand the degree of their issues. Like, one guy was for second-degree rape, another guy was pedophilia, and the general manager herself was, for sexual assault on a kid. So that was surprising. Sexual assault on a kid. So that was something else when you start learning about that Subway corporation, learning about that Subway store itself, about what they were funneling, because she was over, 6, 7 other stores. But the issue is that she was using the stores for an outlet for pedophiles, for sex offenders. Not saying that they don't deserve work, Not saying people don't deserve a second chance, but the very opportunity that we dealt with these issues was, that there was no recognition in these people's issues. There was no recognition in their problems, her problems, the situation. And the story, if you've ever worked in a Subway, you've ever seen a Subway, sometimes you see about 1 or 2 people in one. And kids come in there by themselves, buying food, kids drop in there all the time by themselves. And here you got sex offenders working in there by themselves. So here they are in a store by themselves with kids, walking in by themselves. And I was the manager of this store. So, I had the heads up on that. And that's kind of why I was able to take it down the way I was. Just one little store. But, we focus on the importance of these situations and why it's so important to acknowledge these situations and things like that. And, my news had understanding when it came to, those situations and my own personal figured, attitude in those situations. But, again, guys, before we get off here, because I am going to get off here, I'm making a quick video. It's going to be one of my newest videos. I just want to talk about Facebook real quick, talk about TGR news a little bit more. But, honestly, when we start thinking about this North Korea issue, I just want to, just drop a few lines on this situation. Because, the honest issue that we're facing with North Korea right now is literally that we've had the threatening issues and we've had the opposing problems with North Korea. They have, feared nothing against them and only threatened more against more sanctions. The reality is North Korea our next war? Is we really going to go against, North Korea and their allies, whoever is with North Korea? Obviously, people are still stuck on Russian issues, still stuck on Syria. But, the major importance is defending our allies, taking care of our allies. And, we have to recognize all the problems we've had with North Korea for the past, the latest election with Donald Trump. This has been a very serious situation with their missile testing, their nuclear program, with their threats, with the very ongoing problems. It's not that we're looking to go to war with North Korea. It's that we have to find a solution against them. Obviously, there has to be something to settle this problem down. But, other than that, I just wanted to say those few things, about North Korea right now. And, it's very unfortunate that we have, the censorship problems going on in America like we do. We need to recognize to end censorship and end the diluted issues. Everyone has the free right to think the way they're going to think in this country. And we're going to fight for what we're going to fight for. I'm a constitutionalist. I am a nationalist. Most definitely a patriot to my country and willing to fight for my country. Part of the 3% and willing to be part of the 3% for the rest of my life. So, other than that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get off here and, see y'all later. I normally say adios, but you know how it goes. Adios.
I'm getting